Thank you, Eric. President-elect Obama, I am honored by your confidence in me and your support. Your message of change has resonated with the American people, as has the clarity and confidence of your vision of a United States that is safe, secure, and effective in the world and at home. The team you have assembled faces the challenge of protecting our homeland through constant vigilance and relentless work to prevent terrorist attacks. It also will plan carefully and thoroughly so that our domestic response to all hazards is fast, sound, level-headed, and effective. Americans deserve no less. To achieve this high level of performance, it will be my job and the job of this team to hold ourselves and our agencies accountable, to coordinate fully across the spectrum of government agencies, and to ensure that we work hand in hand with state and local governments to share information, secure our borders, and keep our country safe. We are a nation that will be proud, prepared, and resilient. Thank you for the opportunity to serve, and I would be remiss if I did not also thank the wonderful people of Arizona. Like Hillary, it is difficult to leave one job for another, but one must go where one can best serve. It's now my privilege to introduce to you the nominee to be the ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice.
Mr. President-elect, Mr. Vice President-elect, I am deeply honored and grateful for the opportunity to serve you and our great country as the U.S. Permanent Representative to the United Nations. I look forward to working with this outstanding bipartisan national security team to implement your visionary agenda to strengthen our security and renew America's leadership in the world. I want to take this opportunity to thank my parents, who taught me that no dream is too bold to embrace, my husband and our children, Jake and Maris, for their patience, love, and sacrifice. With your election, Mr. President-elect, the American people have signaled to the world that our nation is on the path to change. Now we must fulfill that promise by joining with others to meet the challenges and seize the opportunities of the 21st century, to prevent conflict, to promote peace, combat terrorism, prevent the spread and use of nuclear weapons, tackle climate change, end genocide, fight poverty and disease. All of these goals are vital to America's security, but none can be accomplished by America alone. To enhance our common security, we must invest in our common humanity. And to do so, we need capable partners and far more effective international institutions. The United Nations was, in major part, America's creation. Mr. President-elect, I share your commitment to rededicate ourselves to the organization and its mission. If confirmed as UN Ambassador, I will work constructively within the organization to help strengthen its capacities and achieve needed reforms. I can think of no more important time to represent the United States at the United Nations. Mr. President-elect, thank you for the confidence you've placed in me and for the opportunity to serve in this vital mission. It's now my pleasure to introduce General James Jones.
Mr. President-elect, Vice President-elect, members of this tremendous team assembled this morning, I'm deeply humbled to have been asked by the President-elect to serve as National Security Advisor, especially during the challenging times we currently face. And Mr. President-elect, I deeply appreciate your mentioning my family's contribution to our national security since 1939. As has been previously mentioned, national security in the 21st century comprises a portfolio which includes all elements of our national power and influence, working in coordination and harmony towards the desired goal of keeping our nation safe, helping to make our world a better place, and providing opportunity to live in peace and security for the generations to follow. I'm deeply humbled, deeply appreciative of this great opportunity, and I'm very proud now to introduce a man who will play a key role in making this come to pass, the Vice President-elect, Joe Biden. Vice President-elect.
Well, Mr. President, you've assembled quite a team, and I hope and believe that the American people will come to feel, as I do, that we brought together one of the most talented national security teams ever assembled. A team prepared to meet the serious challenges we face today and the emerging threats that will confront us tomorrow. I have worked with and admired each of the members of this team, some as far back as the days, Jim, when you were a Marine liaison to the United States Senate, and so I have a long relationship, as the President does, and I do, with each of these folks. And each has a clear understanding of the forces that are shaping this new century and the lives of our fellow Americans. As was mentioned earlier, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the emergence of China, India, Russia, Brazil, and a unifying Europe as major powers, the spread of lethal weapons to dangerous countries as well as dangerous groups, the shortage of and scarcity of energy, water, and food, the impact of climate change, economic dislocations, and persistent poverty. A technological revolution that sends people, ideas, and money around the planet at ever faster speeds. And, as was already mentioned, as we witnessed again last week with the terrible events in India, the challenge to democratic nation states from radical ideologies. That's just a short list of the forces that are shaping the 21st century. And as been implied by all the comments thus far, no one country can control these forces. But more than any other country in the world, we have the ability to affect them if we use the totality of our strength. In bringing together Senator Clinton, Secretary Gates, Eric Holder, Governor Napolitano, Susan Rice, and General Jones, the President-elect has assembled a national security team that is poised, in my view, to recapture the totality of America's strength. Each member of this team shares the goals and the principles that the President-elect and I have attempted to advance. Each member shares our conviction that strength and wisdom must go hand in hand. Each member believes, as we do, that America's security is not a partisan issue. Witness the team. Each member understands that America's military might and economic strength must be married to the power of our ideas and our ideals if we are to deal effectively with dealing with the forces of change, some of which I've mentioned, and if we're going to keep this country we love so dearly prosperous and free. These are extraordinary times. That is not a flight of a fancy or exaggeration. These are extraordinary times. We face extraordinary challenges. But I am, as the President-elect is, optimistic, absolutely optimistic, that this team, with the President-elect at our helm, will see to it that America leads not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. And now, President-elect Obama is prepared to take your questions. And again, Mr. President-elect, congratulations on assembling what I believe will be a first-class team to lead us into this century. Thank you.